New York, big city of dreams.
Ah, boy. What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick of Time Show. Here, give me that Knicks talk, just the nick of time, and it's time to talk about a bad loss. The Knicks lose to the Warriors, 112-102. I'm gonna talk about it all: the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is a crazy game. This is a game that kind of shows us who's tough, who's not, who's ready, who's not. Also showed us who stepped up and who kind of faded into the background. And we're gonna talk about it all. So just sit back, relax, enjoy the show. If you have any grievances, you already know what to do. There's a Discord link pinned to the top of the chat, YouTube land. You want to join the conversation? So yeah, let's get it. Let's get to it. Let's get active. But before I even start, shout out to my people on TikTok. Shout out to Yankees One, who's here early, rocking with us on the KOT show. And whoever else is left in TikTok land. Also shout out to my YouTube people. Shout out to Sandman. Everybody else is rocking with the show. And also shout out to my guy Lee, who was supposed to be here, but his dog got sick, so he had an emergency run to the vet. So shout out to my guy Lee, couldn't be here today. But let's get to it. First and foremost, the Knicks were in this game, man. The Knicks were in this game for most of the game. Jalen Brunson had like around 17 points in the half. First half anyway. The defense, in at least the half court defense, was pretty good. Mikal Bridges had the toughest assignment of the night, chasing Steph Curry around 1,000,001 screens. And for the most part, he did pretty well. And we already know it's not, guarding Steph Curry isn't a one-person job. It's a team job. But, Mikal Bridges did his best to hold him in check, and he held Steph Curry in check for about a half. The second half, not so much. But what I really want to talk about is some good and some bad. And I'm going to start off with the good. And the good to me is the continued good play of OG Anunoby. All right. OG Anunoby today had 28 points on the night, was leading the second unit. The second unit points when you have OG leading the Knicks and Jimmy Butler leading the Heat. You kind of have to zero in on those matchups. And it seemed like our second unit, led by OG Anunoby, versus the Golden State Warriors second unit, led by Jimmy Butler, was kind of a wash. We held our own in the first half. We actually went on like an 8-0 run from our second unit, led by OG Anunoby in the first half. And in the second half, the second unit of the Golden State Warriors started to pull away, but OG Anunoby fought back. And we ended up only being down 1 point with our starters getting back into the game. But our starters let go of the rope. And I get it, Stephen Curry is a tough cover. When the starters come back into the game, we have two people chasing Steph Curry, and Santos left open for a wide open three. The first play out of the gate once the starters get back in the game. Consequently, the Golden State Warriors did their best to keep the ball out of the hands of Jalen Brunson and double and triple team him. And when they started to double and triple team him, now it's time for other players to step up. So when I'm looking at other players, I'm like, all right, cool. OG Anunoby has been doing his thing. He didn't really come up in the clutch, but I applaud his effort, because at the end of the day, OG Anunoby finished with 29 points, 4 of 9 from 3, 11 of 19 from the field, shot 57% from the field, 44% from 3. Damn good game by OG Anunoby. When you're looking at where the points are coming from, you have OG giving you 29. And you had Jalen Brunson giving you 25. And then when you consider the fact that Karl Anthony Towns was not even present for this game, and you start to wonder, damn, where are these points coming from? You have to applaud OG Anunoby for stepping up and being aggressive. But I think where the Knicks fell short was they didn't really have that third guy to also step up. And the first person you're going to look at to step up offensively has to be Mikal Bridges. And I give Bridges a lot of slack for the most part. Not a lot of slack, a lot of leeway for the most part, because a lot of the times he's the lead point of attack defender. The lead point of attack defender has the most physically taxing job on the floor. And then when you add that you're chasing Steph Curry around, it's going to multiply the workload by 30, because chasing him around is a full-time job. So when you're looking at where is this third scoring coming from, and they're doubling on Jalen Brunson, and OG Anunoby's not having the time he used to have, I kind of want to look at Mikal Bridges a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Even though he had the toughest job, he was resting for a big portion of the game. Tom Thibodeau was shadowing his minutes with Steph Curry's minutes. I would love for Mikal Bridges just to be more aggressive in these situations when they're doubling Jalen Brunson. Because, Cat's not here, which means the spacing is a little bit different, which means when Jalen Brunson goes to the hole, there's 2 or 3 on him, and he has to spray it out. And when he's spraying it out, you're spraying it out to who? Josh Hart, who's 1 of 8 from the field, and 0 of 4 from 3.
Bruh.
1 of 8 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3.
Bruh.
Now, here's the thing. Kendrick Perkins just called out the Knicks. He said something along the lines of, they're doing too many podcasts. When you're having these type of games and you're losing 0-7 to these top teams, you need to stop doing the podcast and start concentrating on basketball. I necessarily don't think that's a great take, especially considering Jalen Brunson has been that dude and he's been balling with it without the podcast. However, when I look at Josh Hart and how he's been shooting over the past month and a half, I kind of have to think, all right, cool, maybe Jalen Brunson should be doing a podcast by himself. Because I love Josh Hart, because he still is going to give you the intangibles, right? He's going to hustle. He's going to hustle. He's going to give you the rebounds. He's going to dive for loose balls. That's what Josh Hart does. But damn, oh damn, it seems like he needs to put a little bit of extra time in the gym shooting 3-pointers, because it's evident that your shot has fallen all the way off the cliff, and the only way to get the shot back on track is to shoot. And I watched Josh Hart last season shoot horribly from 3, then be prepared for the playoffs, and shot well from 3 in the playoffs. And he actually started to practice. I know from listening to the podcast that he prioritizes recovery and not practice after games. Josh might have to kind of tweak his routine, because going a month and a half with shooting this bad from the 3-point line is hurting the team, especially considering the fact that Karl-Anthony Towns at this moment is going to be out for personal issues. We don't know how many games are going to be missing, which means we need intangibles, yes, but we need somebody else to step up offensively. So you got to hit these open threes. In general, the Knicks weren't hitting threes. The Knicks, 24% from 3.
Bruh.
And the crazy part about that percentage is the types of threes we're getting were really good looks. The most efficient, most successful, most potent, the strongest part of the floor, one of the most dangerous shots in basketball in the NBA are layups and corner threes. Jalen Brunson in the offense generated a multitude of open corner threes that were missed by anybody not named OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby 4 for 9. Great. Josh Hart 0 for 4. Mikal Bridges 1 for 5. Jalen Brunson 1 for 7. We needed threes in the worst way, and we needed somebody to hit those. Josh Hart to me was a big big point of contention onto why the offense was stalling for long periods of time. On top of Mikal Bridges not being aggressive in certain spots. Also, funny enough, although I'm mad we lost this game, and I am upset we lost this game because of certain things, the Golden State Warriors are a great team. And they were a team that capitalizes on our mistakes. We didn't really make many mistakes. We made crucial mistakes in crunch time that blew this game away. And for this team to be a championship team, we're going to have to tighten the screws a little bit on defense in crunch time. Now, granted, the Knicks have been really good in crunch time. You already know Jalen Brunson is Captain Clutch. Big Shot Brunson is like what I like to call him. He's been hitting clutch basket after clutch basket when the game is on the line. But defensively, with what 3 or 4 minutes left in the game, we let go of the rope and we got frazzled and we never quite hit back. And that was the game. Is this a game where I'm pissed off that we lost and this is a horrible game and throw the whole team away? No, this is a formidable team. The Golden State Warriors have been playing great. Jimmy Butler stabilizes them. It's just a game where you just see that we still have some work to do. And even though we do still have some work to do, Cat not being here kind of changed the dynamic of how we play offense in crunch time. So you gotta keep everything with a grain of salt. Now, ideally, what I would like to see in crunch time, when everything is together and perfect and humming, is since when Josh Hart might be on the bench. Depending on the situation, depending how he's playing, depending on the flow of the game. In reality, I might want to see the lineup that we'll be talking about all season when Mitch comes back. Cat at the 5. Mitch at the 5. Cat at the 4. With Mikal, OG, and Jalen Brunson. I think that type of lineup might help us in crunch time in certain positions. I feel like when Mitchell Robinson gets his timing back, the lob threat will open up the shooting for us. I think that can work for us long term if we got to see it. And matter of fact, Mitch in general, his defense was pretty good. And not only was defense pretty good, his offensive rebounding was pretty good. Mitch played 15 minutes today, had 4 offensive rebounds in 15 minutes. 5 rebounds total, 4 offensive rebounds in 15 minutes, 7 points. Only thing is his timing on the alley-oops are a little bit off, but that's going to come with time. But I can't wait for him to get his breath up because he didn't have his legs under him all the way and he's still working in them. We had to see 30 minutes of Precious Achiuwa today, which was started off kind of slowly with his 30 minutes, but still gave you 15 boards and 8 points on the night, but gave you kind of the butterfingers. But the thing with Precious Achiuwa is crunch time once again. Precious Achiuwa, when it comes to crunch time, when it comes to fear, when it comes to rising to the occasion in the moment, he has never really been that guy. I remember him playing with the Celtics, being left open for 3 and breaking those. I remember him playing the Pacers in the playoffs, and he was bricking those shots as well. So with the game on the line, I applaud OG Anunoby's playmaking ability. OG Anunoby draws 3 defenders, kicks it out to Precious Achiuwa, and he bricks a 3. Not the guy you want shooting threes with the game on the line after he hasn't played a few games. Ideally, I would love to see more Mitch tonight, and I can't wait to have him back when he has more of his wind. Ideally, to me, those are the biggest problems to me. The transition defense was a big problem. Containing Steph Curry, to me, was the other big problem. Having a third scorer outside of OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson was a big problem. The fouls were a little bit of an issue because we got mighty close to being over the limit. That was a big problem as well. And also, I have a little bit of a scheme problem. I would like to see Draymond Green at some point be forced to put the ball on the floor, forced to shoot, forced to do something outside of sit at the foul line and just kind of quarterback everything. I kind of feel like, Golden State Warriors do a really good job of running their system. They pull the center out the paint and they let all these guys run screen after screen and re-screen after re-screen until you get either an open three or an open layup. I would like to see freaking Mitch just lay off of him and make him a shooter, make him a driver, dare him to do something else besides quarterback the ball. Have Mitch kind of play safety a little bit sometimes. I think if those problems were addressed or if we schemed that into the way we defended, at least at certain times of the game, I think maybe we could have gave them a different look and maybe we could have inked out a win. That's just me being the amateur coach on my couch. But we ended up losing the game. Overall, Steph Curry, 12-1. We haven't beaten him since he scored 54 points. Shout out to Raymond Felton for the block. Knicks history. Hopefully there's a time where we actually snap that winning streak. And hopefully that time is next year when we are a championship caliber team. It's not this year, but damn it, we're on the way. We're on the way. All right. Let's get it though. I had my little monologue. So salute to the chat. Yo, shout out to the OG, the GOAT, Chuck D, who's been is the biggest Knicks content creator supporter ever, really. So shout out to Chuck D. He says, salute JLs. Golden State, they played basketball execution. We will get it. The way this POTUS talking, it may be a shaky playoff planet. Yo, Chuck D, listen, man. I don't want to talk politics too early. You already know what me and these politics. I don't. I'm gonna stay away from Trump and the tariffs and the all that. I might add that for the bro pick. I might have that for the bro pick. But I agree with you. Hopefully the planet is still here long enough for the Knicks to win the championship because POTUS is really trying to blow the planet up for real. All right, but let's get to these peoples in the chat. Shout out to the people in the chat and shout out to the people on TikTok. We got 8 people on TikTok. For those on TikTok, hit that like. We're here after every game talking Knicks basketball if you're on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok and you're enjoying the breakdowns, definitely join me for the next game. When is the next game? I feel like 2 days from now we're going to the next game. So shout out to Yo, shout out to Caden, shout out to Braden, shout out to Redlands, shout out to James Doda, shout out to Yankee, shout out to everybody who's rocking with the KOT show. I'm doing this show Dolo today. Usually have a squad with me, but if you're enjoying the show, you guys feel free to gift, feel free to follow, and we'll be here after every game talking Knicks basketball. So hopefully you rocking out with us. All right. To my peoples on YouTube, shout out to you guys. Shout out to Anna Grill. Shout out to Fritz Alessandor. Shout out to D Buckets. Shout out to Juan B. Shout out to Picks for Timmy. Shout out to Sandman. Shout out to JT Reddick. And shout out to everybody rocking with the KOT show who was here after a loss. You're a Knicks fan here after a loss. Salute to you because you were crazy. Or you just want to be, you just enjoying the therapy session with the KOT show. So I appreciate your support and I appreciate you listening to the breakdown. Let's see what you guys have to say. All right. Fritz says Thursdays versus the Lakers is next. Yes, Thursday versus the Lakers is next. We'll be here, be square. D Bucket says when we're gonna put Bridges in the post when we have a player like Trae Young and Steph on him. Bridges' offense is good enough to be a third option, but you can't teach heart and aggressiveness. That's the crazy thing to me about Bridges. When you look at the way Bridges moves and shoots, and you look at the eye test, he's naturally to me, just looking at him, the more gifted player out of him and OG Anunoby. But OG Anunoby just wants it more. And sometimes you just can't teach that. So, even although Bridges has the talent, OG just seems to want it more. You're absolutely right. Steph Curry is guarding you. Put him in the post. Make him play defense. Steph has kind of been chilling on defense for most of the night. If he was a little bit more aggressive, I don't even think that much more aggressive. Just like 10% more aggressive. Especially in crunch time when you notice Jalen Brunson is getting double and triple teamed. Take some pressure off of him to make a play. You've had this training, you have this time in Brooklyn doing just that. Use those skill sets that you said you learned and bring it to the Knicks. I think that's going to help us in the long run. And it sucks because at the end of the game, we talk about how Jalen Brunson needs to make plays for each other. He was being super unselfish. He was making the right play continuously in that second half, in that fourth quarter, but no one was stepping up and making shots. We just needed somebody else to step up. Whether it be Deuce, who kind of had an off night as well. He's been shooting well, kind of had an off night. Whether it be Mikal Bridges. We just needed somebody else to step up offensively, and maybe this could have been closer, or maybe we could have won that game. All right. Wambi said Curry really be Captain Clutch. He ain't won nothing. Putting that on him is a bad omen. I mean, it's not a bad omen when you're just kind of looking at history. Calling him Captain Clutch is just history, man. Just because he hasn't won a championship doesn't mean he's not clutch. He's been the top 5 clutch player in the NBA ever since he's come to the Knicks. And then he's also carried that on into the playoffs as well, hitting big shots in the playoffs. So just because he hasn't won a chip yet doesn't mean he isn't clutch. It just means he's early in his journey, and there'll probably be a point where he'll be able to prove that in the finals too, and then you'll really be calling him Captain Clutch. It's just early. It's just early. All right. All right, yo. Let's see. Felicia says Josh was not good tonight. This was a night I would like to see Deuce get closer to 30 minutes. Yeah, maybe this is the night to get Deuce closer to 30 minutes. Deuce, it's funny, Deuce didn't shoot well, but he was a positive when it comes to the plus minus. If I'm looking at the plus minus for Deuce was a plus 11 tonight. And so it's like so maybe you go Deuce, but Deuce wasn't hitting his shots. Hell, maybe you go Landry Shamet. Landry Shamet, quiet as it's kept, Landry Shamet has been hitting his shots recently. I think he kind of got off to a slow start because of the injury, but he's a career 40% three-point shooter. And don't look now, but he's been more accurate in his limited minutes recently from 3. So I don't know. Maybe you need a 3. I don't know. Maybe you look at Shamet. I don't know. Or maybe not, because damn it, Mikal Bridges can hit those 3s, man. Mikal Bridges can hit those shots. And the other thing about Mikal that kind of is kind of rubbing you the wrong way a little bit. And granted, I'm the person who's still going to champion him. I'm the person who still wants him here, and I still think it was the right move to bring him here. But the thing that's kind of rubbing me the wrong way is he got ultra aggressive with under 30 seconds to go. When we needed you more to take control, when Brunson was getting double and triple teamed and it was hard for him to get the ball off the court, that's kind of when we need you to kind of take some pressure off of him, and he kind of disappeared. So I don't know. That was just interesting to me. Jay Cruz says, I keep seeing no matter whether win or lose, Mikal takes many plays off. I keep forgetting he's out there. Offensive plays off, yes. And here's the thing. Maybe he's just getting burnt out from chasing Steph Curry around. That could be it too. But he's taking a lot of offensive plays off. But defensively, I don't know. I just want more from him. Maybe I'm asking too much at times. Maybe, but I just want more from him offensively. I'm not gonna hold you. Especially because he was resting. He just got back in the game. I feel like, all right, you resting. Our bench kept us within one. You can take a couple of shots and be aggressive in crunch time. I think that's the thing with me with Mikal. Like when the shot clock is running down and it's crunch time, he seems to pass the ball and be passive, even when he has the ball, and that's the time I want you to be aggressive. All right. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. Welcome back, Mitch. I love your defensive presence. Precious Achua, clumsy hands. I actually kind of like Precious' defense a little as the game wore on. Offensively, he was kind of atrocious, though. Knicks transition defense needs to be cleaned up. More aggression from the ancillary players. And bad communication, bad defense in key players in key parts of the game, specifically the fourth quarter. When two players went after Steph. And we left another player open for an open three. That kind of cost us the game. All right. All right. Let's get it. You know, so now that we talked about that, let's just kind of get to some other stuff that's been happening in Knicks land. Because as you guys might have known, the Knicks are signing Marjon Beauchamp to a two-way contract. All right. Beauchamp has played for the Bucks and the Clippers this season. So a sneaky good move from these Knicks and Leon Rose to sign Beauchamp. Now, Beauchamp is on a two-way, which means he is not eligible to play for the playoffs, but we can play him for about 12 games of the regular season and kind of keep him around, keep him in our system for next season. You've heard me talk about the lack of options for us because of the cap. Because of the cap, because of the players we have here, we're going to have to be really creative to get that wing player off the bench to give us even more depth that we need. So the more of those type of guys that we have in our system that we try to train up, the better. So I'm happy, extremely happy to see that we have a former lottery pick in Marjon Beauchamp on the team. Athletic, 6'7" wing who didn't really work out, but has a lot of talent. And so shout out to Leon Rose, and hopefully our development staff can step up and develop this guy into a useful player in the future. All right. All right. Also, let's see. I also have some other. I know I have some other. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I feel like I'm forgetting something that I want to touch on. Oh, we still have a roster spot open. We still do have a roster spot open. So, we heard rumors about the Knicks might be trying to get PJ Tucker or TJ Warren here on the Knicks. So that possibility is still in play. Will those type of guys get any minutes in the playoffs? I don't know. These guys can end up being locker room guys, but we're still on the lookout for another player on our roster, and that hasn't happened yet. But I would still kind of keep a lookout for those names. All right. All right. Shout out to Fritz. He says the Knicks can convert one of the two ways as the 15th player. I personally think they will hold on to the 15th spot, the 15th signing until later. Why do you think? Chris, why do you think they hold on to their 15th spot until later? You think it's a money thing because the later they wait, the more money they'll have to be under the cap? Because that's the only reason why I can see them actually kind of waiting. Hold on one second, guys. Oh wait, here we go. Also in other news, I know Knicks Nation has been clamoring and wanting to bring in Moses Brown, who's been signed to Dallas to a 10-day contract, but Dallas was not able to re-sign him because you do not have enough money to re-sign him. So he's back with the Knicks and causing havoc. So for those who are worried about having another center here, we do have Moses Brown. Although Lee, who's kind of been tracking Moses Brown's games, has kind of pointed out that although he has the gaudy stats, the gaudy rebounds, the gaudy points, that when it comes to defense, being in the right spots, over helping, drop coverage, he's kind of been lacking the fundamentals in those areas. So don't look for him to make an immediate defensive impact and be steadying the ship with these Knicks. However, like if you guys know, the Knicks are pretty good at developing centers. So you can see what we've done with Mitchell Robinson. Sims is starting to have a little bit of success with the Bucks. So a guy with that much raw talent, Moses Brown, who's getting those gaudy numbers, if he stays within our system, maybe, just maybe, he can have those gaudy numbers with the fundamentals that are needed to go along with it. So I'm not mad at the signing of Moses Brown. All right? All right. Yo, that is our show. I don't think I have anything else to really talk about. I can get into the ooh picks or the bruh picks if you really want to. I don't really feel like talking about ooh picks right now. My Knicks lost today. Usually when I talk about ooh picks, I talk about somebody from the Knicks, but because the Knicks actually lost the game today, I don't really feel like talking oohs. I don't really feel like talking oohs. But you know what? I will say this: the one, you know what? My ooh pick will be a player. My ooh pick will be a player, and I'm just OG Anunoby. My ooh pick will be OG Anunoby, only because you know what?
Bruh.
A lot of the times when we talk about this Knicks team, and we talk about this year's team in comparison to last year's team, there's certain players on last year's team to me that has to kind of bring that culture over to these new guys. You know what I mean? And the guys who were here last year were Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride. Those are the guys to me who have to bring guys like Cat, Mikal Bridges, and other guys up to the culture, to the grittiness, to speed of this New York Knicks team. So when I look at the game that OG had today, his game to me reminded me of that grittiness that we had last year. Because even when he was leading the second unit, he found the play, whether it be an and one, whether it be a three, or whether it be his defense, he just kind of kept fighting. And I admire that about OG. All right, so my game ball and my ooh pick tonight, even though we lost, goes to my guy OG. All right. Mikal Bridges fought. Defensively, I just need him to fight offensively as well. Felicia G says Mavs are done now. Kyrie out. Oh man. You know what? The Mavs, first of all, I feel really bad for Kyrie Irving, who has kind of been playing pretty well as of recently. So for him to go out like that on an ACL tear is rough for them. So it kind of leaves the Mavs in a bad spot. And it's funny, like I feel bad for Kyrie Irving for sure. the Mavs kind of annoyed the hell out of me because you already know. You already know the Mavs had the Knicks pick, and the pick was protected last season, and they ended up losing games, so they didn't have to give the pick to the Knicks, and they ended up with Lively. So it's funny. I kind of almost feel like a little bit of this is karma. I don't know. Not Kyrie being injured, but just the way I don't know. I just kind of feel like that was just bad juju for the Mavs. But speedy recovery to Kyrie Irving. The Mavs are kind of in a dumpster fire. Don't really feel bad for the Mavs, but I feel bad for Kyrie Irving. So hopefully he ends up recovering. All right. Alexander says, damn, I missed the whole show. Sheesh. Yeah, man, it's a one-man show today, so I'm doing it myself. So it's a little bit quicker than usual. Sorry about that, my guy. It's a little bit. Anything else you guys want to mention? All right, I feel like I've talked about everything I need to talk about. If you enjoyed the show, please hit that like and subscribe. We have the Every Game Talking Knicks basketball. I usually have a crew with me. They're not with me today, but usually I do have a crew with me, and somebody might be with me next game. So definitely come check us out for Knicks Lakers. All right. So shout out to Felicia G who came late. Alexander. Shout out to Ray Alexander too, who says Grimes is better than Bridges. You kind of bugging. Oh, you got him. Like Grimes, not better than Bridges. Shout out to Glamour Knicks, snuck in here at the end. Shout out to Chuck D who gave us a salute as well. Also shout out to Yankees who's been holding down the hearts for me. I appreciate you. Shout out to James Dota 216 and shout out to Redlands for rocking with us on the KT show on TikTok. All right, I'm ending the show, man. I hope you guys enjoy your night and join us for the next show. All right, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching. And as always,
shout out the worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. I'm out of here. Peace.